What we saw, it was very similar to what you would see in a Hollywood film. We didn't think that that was something real.
September 11, 2001 means a lot of things to a lot of people. For millennials, the terrorist attacks that day became the generation's Pearl Harbor.
As news specialist Ashley Moser explains, the epic event no doubt changed young people's view of the world and America's place in it.
So I believe I was like 10 or 11 years old.
I was 10 years old. I was in the 5th grade.
I was in 7th grade. I must have been 12, going on 13.
No matter the age.
I think we were young enough to not quite understand, but we were old enough, I think, to figure out, okay, something isn't right.
For those who lived through it, September 11th, 2001 is a day they will never forget. Erica was at home when her parents flipped on the TV.
I just remember seeing replays of the planes crashing into the World Trade Center.
Omar was at school.
And I just remember sinking in my chair, you know, that first period, just feeling scared and afraid.
Julianne first heard about it on the radio.
They're talking about these different states. It's hitting all these different states. We're now wondering, are they going to come and attack us?
To a child, what happened that day left lasting impressions that for some mean something different 20 years later.
What happened was a lot worse than what I remember.
Julianne recalls singing during an impromptu assembly on September 12th.
We all gathered in front of the school. It wasn't about anything that was exciting. This was something that was very confusing and very scary.
She says conversations about the attacks opened her eyes to the reality that not everyone likes America.
Oh, there's people who hate us. There's, you know, this world isn't as safe as we think. There's people who, you know, don't mean well.
And I think that was the first time that I remember feeling my heart sink and feeling like this looming presence of a little bit of fear. Today was the anniversary of the September 11th attack.
Erica's feelings about that day are still palpable. She wrote about them on the one-year anniversary.
On September 11th, the Taliban from Afghanistan bombed the Twin Towers in New York City. It felt like something was taken from me. Something very dangerous was coming very close to home, and that was scary.
But that truly left an impact. It left a mark on how we view things now.
That fear looked a little differently for Omar.
I think people automatically assumed that, oh, like, he's from there, you know, and he's one of them.
He was the only person of Muslim faith at his middle school and remembers the backlash his community got after 9/11.
People would shout things. We'd be walking down the street and someone would shout something out of the window.
He says for the amount of hate, there was just as much good that came out of the situation. Because of 9/11, Omar is actively involved with the Utah Muslim Civic League.
The struggles that our community has gone through and the things that we're building and trying to do here is a result of that experience.
It came full circle for Julianne when she visited the memorial in New York City.
You feel something very different there than anywhere else you'll go in the whole city.
She says reflecting on what exactly happened there has changed her perspective on the event.
No matter how many times you see pictures, no matter how many times you see videos, it's more haunting than you remember, and it's way worse than you remember.
I'll remember it as a day that changed me, but I think I'll remember it as a day that changed me and a lot of other people for the better.
Erica feels the silver lining in all of this is that her generation has grown up more open to people who are different from them, more unified.
You could easily see that day as something that could harden a person or make someone incredibly angry. But I'm just really impressed with how so many people have just taken the road to compassion, and I think that's been really, really beautiful.
Ashley Moser, KSL 5 News.